recording. Again, feel free to change your name or show your video or turn off your video, whatever's most comfortable for you. We will be posting this video to our website. For those of you that don't know me, I am Linnea. I'm our Director of Camping for the Western Los Angeles County Council. I've been with Camp Emerald Bay since 2007, and last year was my first full summer out of camp and working more remote and being able to see the other camps. So it was quite a change, but I'm excited to welcome back our camp director, Snow. She's here with us tonight. She'll be answering and fielding some questions, as well as our program director, Matthew. And then we've got our In Too Deep team with us as well, Nick and Abby, to talk about scuba and talk about all of our great opportunities underwater after Matt goes through our different documents for the rest of our summer camp program. I'm going to do a screen share for everybody, so I'll be looking for Matt's thumb when I see our screen share is good to go. And on this, you'll see our camp website. So here is our forms and documents page. This is our most crucial, our most valuable form. Documents, resources, anything and everything that you need as you're preparing for summer camp. This is that form page to go to. It's pretty simple. It's just campemeraldbay.org. And then you can either get there from the main homepage by clicking on Scout Resources and then Forms and Documents, or you can write out Forms and Documents. When you're on this page, you'll see our Spring Leaders Meeting information here. That will open you up to this tab that will have all of our recordings, everything posted, a link to our FAQ page, and then our scuba recording that happened 2 Wednesdays ago as well. Also on this page, you'll see all of our information packets posted up here. Our 2024 Cubs information is just reference from Cubs that are still joining. Since we're doing a full 4th of July makeover this year, we are still working on some of those documents to make sure that we're supporting our Cub Scouts best, but we're all Scouts BSA here in this room tonight, so pay attention to those Scouts BSA forms. They have all been updated at this point, with the exception of our Spring Leaders packet being posted. So that one's still being worked out and getting the right sizing to get posted. So as soon as it's on here, we'll send out an email link with that on. But we will be walking you through that one today. So we'll have it through our screen share as Matt reads through everything on that. But everything on this page, all of these documents, this is where we're going to encourage you to go every single time for all of the information to help you to camp. We have our special request form, campership request. We'll have our merit badge forms and documents. All of that lives right here for your reference, and we'll do a deeper dive at the end of the meeting to really make sure everybody understands this is our main page. But for now, I'm going to bring up our Spring Leader packet, and Matt will take lead in communicating the rest of our details to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome everybody. Hope you're all excited for camp this summer as I am. So first thing, we have our Spring Leaders packet. We thank you for choosing Emerald Bay as your host for your unit's week-long summer camp adventure, and we certainly will work our best to provide the most unique, unparalleled and unforgettable scouting experience for you this summer. So feel free to, contact anybody with any questions that you might have, outside of the meeting that may pop up later. Don't feel, forced to come up with all the answers now. We'll be an open book ready to go with everything there. So we'll just go through everything today. Some basics, Catalina Island facts. We are located on the shores of Catalina Island, located on the west end of Santa Catalina Island, and the closest town is Two Harbors, which you'll see right there, just off to the center left of that photo. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes to drive to. The Avalon, as most everybody knows from those pictures of the casino, and if you check in on if you're local to Southern California, those local morning news networks, showing that area, and also most notably, Catalina Island is most known for. Avalon is very far away, so 2 hours, 28-mile drive on the fairly rugged dirt roads of the island. And we also sometimes can get there by boat, but we usually only do that by car. Um, Now, if you're traveling to camp outside of the arranged transportation with our contracted boat company, you will need to work with the Two Harbors Harbor Department to arrange a shore boat to and from camp. And also, these travelers will need to fill out a special request form under our forms and documents page as Linnea just showed you for those special arrangements as well. It's kind of a similar area where the dietary restrictions and everything are too. Here's a generalized map of camp. It's pretty much the same as it goes right now. You'll see each number in each campsite corresponds to a name, albeit a scenic location local to California. Those are how the campsites are laid out. You'll first arrive more towards the bottom of that screen, the dock, and then make your way up. Of course, there's the dining hall. We have our Pennington Marine Science Center off to the right with the massive parade ground in the middle, and then you kind of meander your way up our property through the different campsites, all the way in the back where, if any of your scouts are going to engage in any nature merit badges, like, environmental science, energy, all that good stuff, that's going to be up in the back in our nature area. There's also the same road you may know about our war canoe experience. Well, that same road for those that choose not to participate in that experience will hike the road that goes out the back of our property and camp that way too. So there's a basic map of what we have to deal with here at camp. We love it. We appreciate it. There's also maps available in camp too. Once you're on property, we won't just leave you guys. It'll be all squared away. All right, now what to bring. There's the troop gear list. You have your things with the mandatory items. You need your completed forms, your merit badge prerequisite forms, as you see a little lower onto the page. One thing as of note, I'm not going to read out every item, but we don't bring any fire starting devices to camp because we are on a desert island and it is extremely dry in the summer. And so don't bring any propane or fuel or any fire starting materials to camp because all of that, like campfires and whatnot, will be done either in the campfire circle or on our waterfront here at camp. Of course, there's all the miscellaneous items there too. Your scout knife can be also purchased from the ship store. It can be brought as well. Basic things like no firearms or any sort of other paraphernalia that could be not scout appropriate. Basically, as long as we're within the scouting guidelines and operating with that frame of mind for everybody that comes to camp, we will be good to go. And I generally recommend that everybody tries to keep it to one or so duffel bags. Well, one really. It's going to be a week. It's going to be a good week, but of course, the boat company too. There's only so much space. Then we have our specific programs, Rugged Canoers. So that's that Rugged Sea happening a little later in the summer. There's the Rugged Explorers happening all throughout the summer, and then our Rugged Trek program. They each have their own specific need list as far as what extra to bring. For canoers, if you're out on the ocean for long stretches of the day, you're not going to have as much access to fresh water while we're out there. Now, of course, we're going to have that on the canoes with us as well, but it also helps for everybody on their person to have like a water bladder or a camelback or a couple Nalgene bottles too, just to make sure that everybody is hydrated and prepared. Remember, we're scouts, we're prepared. So that comes along with that. There's a dry bag. Any valuables, you have a nice camera that you want to take some pictures, you maybe have the memories last a little longer than they might otherwise. You of course can bring that, but of course at your own risk. And I recommend a dry bag for that. Mess kits, of course, having that wonderful camp experience. Then for explorers, the day pack, because there's all sorts of activities they do there. And then additional spending money is noted in all three because all three programs will have unique opportunities to experience either Two Harbors or Avalon throughout their stay here. Definitely all the things to leave at home. Again, if it's a really nice camera, maybe don't bring the really nice camera. I don't know. The cameras are very expensive. If you have a personal kayak you want to bring with you, you can leave it at home. Because we have kayaks and canoes here, it's all good. The ship is, or the list is quite lengthy there. Also, lanterns for campsites and whatnot are also available for rent in the ship store, so you definitely can leave that, especially it's one of those, larger lanterns. Also, those propane lanterns, not good because of the propane and light there. So we're not bringing that with us either. Um, and then, of course, throughout your stay, the mess kits are only applicable to these particular programs. Um, there might be an opportunity to use them elsewhere, but really, our dining hall, our wonderful dining hall facility, has all of the things necessary to enjoy a 5-star dining experience here at camp. Very good. Now, Lene, I believe, is this when I hand things to you? Talk about our special boat schedule this particular year.
Perfect. Yes, I am happy to jump in this one.
Yeah.
So the big change for this year is that we will be assigning boats before you leave for camp. So you'll find out as soon as April 30th what your official boat is. We're going to get you information earlier than that as well, but this is our new form for you to submit. So you will put in the information that you have. We will have 3 boats every week and 4 boats some weeks, but we will always have a later morning opportunity boat for each week. So that is the one big change for this year. As you go in, you'll select your week, and then your week will open up when you click to the next slide for which boat options you have. What we're requesting from everybody in this situation is to click every single boat that your unit can do. There will be a spot later to write in your preferences on boats, but if your troop is local, if you're living right in San Pedro and you can make any of these boat times work, please click them all. If you're flying in and you only have the ability to do one boat, just do that one. If you arrive earlier, you will have more time to do the others, but we are hoping that everybody selects as many options as reasonable and as um, can be accommodated within your unit. The big thing for this is that our boat capacity does have upper limits as well as lower limits. So we have to have a minimum of 70 people on every boat, as well as each boat has a different capacity, either 150 people or 250 people. So depending on your week, depending on which boat option people are hoping for the most, we will see that you might not get your very first choice, but we will do our best to accommodate everywhere that we can. Once you go into the next stop, you'll then see all these different options. So this will help us prioritize. Please select the option that applies best for you. And then this is where you can overwrite anything extra. If you have one unit member that has to get home on the earliest boat so they can catch a flight, but the rest of the troop is flexible, you can write that in here and we'll be able to get that one person on and then have more flexibility with the rest of the unit, whatever this may look like. We also know that plans may change. You might not have all of your shuttles arranged yet. You might not have your flights officially honed in yet. So this is to help us figure out what's best and where we can move people. And then we will be communicating out those plans as soon as they're firm on our side for you. But definitely by April 31st, you will know exactly what boat we're scheduling you for and where we anticipate you to be. This link for this Google survey will be found both on our Scout Resources Getting to Camp page, as well as inside this document. So you'll be able to click in here for that link, and you'll be able to go straight to it and submit all of your requests. We'll also be putting it into the chat so that people who are here can fill this out at this point. But again, please be the most flexible, most largest range for anything that your unit can do so that we can accommodate that best. The Harbor Breeze, who we contract with, has been really flexible in the past, but now they have a few different charters that through different grants, their times are much more strict. So we will see different weeks have different time frames. So that's why we broke it down this way. Instead of just having a generic posting for when you should arrive, you'll be assigned a specific boat with a specific check-in time. So please be looking for that email starting April 30th, if not before, as soon as we finalize everything on that. All right, Matt, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. There are also the required documents that will be kind of tallied off and collected first thing you get into camp and everything. So those are all very important. Another important thing too is to complete that special request form before you come out to camp. I'll get to the scuba portion just in a second. I can have Nick from In Too Deep hop in here, but just make sure before you come out to camp, as far as like dietary accommodations. Um, Fill out that special request form, and I would highly recommend keeping tabs, especially if that tally changes of how many people are coming to camp. Let's say your group grows. Try to update that also on a special request form so that we can most accurately accommodate everybody's special diets prior to coming at the camp. Because again, all the food that we serve here at Emerald Bay, nothing grows here on the island. So we do have to get it shipped out here and know in advance. So if another 10 people that happen to be gluten-free also arrive in camp, it might be harder, to fully and most comfortably accommodate everybody if we didn't, know that information beforehand. So that's a really great thing to know. So make sure you fill that out. But then Nick, go ahead. There's an important notification about scuba here.
Oh, there is, and it will show up, I'm sure, more times than you can count in all of the different documents. We just want to make sure it's very clear when it comes to any of the diving activities are week-long programs. So that's going to be like the open water program, the rescue, the advanced program, or any hybrids or specialty programs. The form is a RSTC form, and it says that you don't need a signature if you are all no's. That is not true. In scouting, we do require that there is a doctor's authorization no matter what for those programs. So whether you are thinking about diving, know you want to go diving, or even there's a slight chance, when you go to get your ABCs done, make sure that you bring that form along with and have the doctor sign at the same time. It's not really anything different, but it is a different form that has to be submitted separately, and so we need that filled out properly. And we will do our best to make sure that those get out and repeat ourselves as many times as possible so that everybody gets a chance to get in the water, because I love diving out at Emerald, and I know a lot of others that do as well. It's one of the best places in the world, in my opinion, to dive. So when you see that throughout here, take a second glance at it, or make sure when you are doing your paperwork that you're bringing those RSTC medicals with you or your scouts.
Awesome. Yeah, and take note of all the other forms that are necessary. If one of the scouts are wanting to engage in either the rifle or shotgun merit badges, we have the pre-camp release form. It's necessary for the consent to furnish firearms to a minor. So making sure all of these different forms and this page is not overlooked, because inevitably that can really affect someone's camp experience, and especially as far as the required documents are also necessity to have filled out and taken care of before everybody comes to camp. Another note on our kitchen, we operate a nut-free kitchen. And of course, any combination of the previous diets are also able to be accommodated. So diet choices will certainly be accommodated to the best of our abilities. But if you have any questions, just let us know at least 2 weeks prior to the visit so we can get that all squared away. And you can go ahead and email bsaebkitchen@gmail.com. I think that's changed to Lily Urbina's email, if I'm not mistaken, Linnea.
Yeah, this one will still work at the bottom. Contact, there's also Lily's. So both will be available, but we'll write Lily's in here as well so that everybody has direct access in this page. Matt, I think this is also a good time to just go through our chat, go through some of the questions that are popping up to make sure everybody's seeing the same one. So those of you that have been joining, this is our 2025 Leaders Guide. It will be posted to the website. Our website guru is working on it right now, so it's probably going to be posted before we even wrap up this meeting, but it will be there and available for you. Inside of this document, we just talked about our transportation. Some of our new changes is that each boat that will be scheduled will have a 30-minute prior to departure loading window, and we're asking that all units arrive 15 minutes before the loading time to get in line and get ready. So it's 15 minutes prior to your loading time, which will be then 45 minutes prior to the actual boat departure. Please make sure you are loading during that loading window instead of trying to arrive during that time frame. So please arrive in that 15 minutes before the loading, but there's no reason to be there an hour and a half early. There's no reason for the huge waiting period in San Pedro. We're just asking that you arrive 15 minutes before the loading, and then loading should take 30 minutes to get everybody onto the boat. And then from there, the boat will depart. So please keep that in mind. We do want people moving quickly. And if you're having any delays the day of as you're getting to the boat, if you know one family might be running late, please communicate that out to us as early as possible. You'll have all of our emails and all of our phone numbers on the last page of this document, and you'll be able to reach out to any of us during that time frame. Myself and Snow are always available for those quick messages on those Sunday arrivals to camp for anybody that's having issues with the boat. But again, 15 minutes before that time frame. Our mess kits are required for our overnight program. We'll get into our overnight program a bit later. They're just not required for the dining hall. So you will need a mess kit while you're in camp, just not for the dining hall portion of camp. And if you're doing our rugged programs, then you'll need the mess kit for that as well. For the transportation survey, we're asking that you have it completed as soon as you know your details. It can be all the way up through May. If we don't see anything submitted before that April 31st window or 30th window when we're trying to get answers out to everybody, then we will follow up with your unit to ask what specific plans are to make sure that you didn't miss the link. But if we don't hear from you or if you're still arranging those travel plans, just know that we'll probably be putting you in a more flexible spot. So if you do have strict plans, get those answers in as soon as you can. If you have more flexibility, you can wait on that document, but there might be limited options if you wait past April 30th for which boats still would be available. If you're staying on the USS Iowa, that is a great option. They do have breakfast in the morning, so you can stay, have your breakfast, then you can choose one of those later options to get onto the boat. It gives you a more relaxed morning. You can also tell us that you're staying on the USS Iowa, but you're still requesting an early boat, and then you can leave first. But they do have a breakfast option if you're staying on the USS Iowa the night before. That's generally wrapped up around 7:30 or 8, but you can take a slower morning if you'd like. Administering swim checks do have to happen at camp. It's one of our council policies. So this is something that is unique to some camps, but for Emerald Bay, we do require that all scouts take the swim check as well as adults in camp. So it's not something that you can do ahead of time. Feel free to prepare your scouts, feel free to get them doing the swim checks, but they are required to be done in camp to be able to participate in any of our aquatics program. And our swim area is the ocean. So we don't have a pool or a lake or any other swimming bodies. It is all in the ocean. So it may be cold, so prepare your scouts for that one too. If you're coming with both a boy and a girl unit, you can submit as 2 separate units, or you can treat them as one unit in terms of your transportation plans. If you are coming as 2 and you want to be treated as one, please let us know so we can link you together. Or if you have another scout troop that you'd like to travel with, maybe you're coming and you've already arranged that transportation together, let us know who you're traveling with, and then we'll be able to prioritize getting you all onto the same boat. At the time of enrollment, when you went into Double Knot and said your special requests, you are good to leave that one. This special request form that you still see up on the screen is just a backup. It's secondary, but what you put into Double Knot is the first place that we all check as well. Putting additional information here is just to catch even more if you wanted more spots, more space than what Double Knot allows to write. But we do go through Double Knot and the special request form to be able to get everything together. Our boat is direct straight to Emerald Bay, and you will be staying in tents. All of our tents have cots and mattresses inside. The expectation for everybody, adults and youth, is that they will be sharing a tent when they're in camp. We request that you use the 2D leadership concept as well as appropriate age grouping. So no more than 2 years gap between your youth who are tenting together. But the expectation initially is that everybody will have a buddy, adults included. And then as the time goes on, if you see there's some extra space in your campsite, the adults can spread out a bit. All right. Nick, you want to answer some of the scuba ones that you're seeing in there? Are you seeing anything? Abby's already so quick on it.
Abby's pretty quick on it. There is the confusing one. Yes, there's two different age limits for scouting. That is 12 for any courses. So if they're taking a class, they must be 12 years or older if they're already certified, because you can be certified outside of scouting at age 10. They can participate in a DLD, a Discover Local Diving, or a Discover Scuba Diving program, which is just that one session dive, because they are not training activities. They are just discover activities. And that's found in the Guide to Safe Scouting. So it can be a little confusing, and there's a lot of technical jargon, but we're happy to help if you have any further questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. I think I'm going to answer just two more, and then we're going to jump back into moving into our questions. From a gear perspective, we do allow wagons within camp, the small wagons, to bring your items, but the boat company will make you break it down. So you won't be able to wheel your items onto the boat, and you won't be able to wheel them off of the boat. So keep that in mind. You can use them throughout the rest of camp, but it does get very difficult since you have to carry everything onto the boat and then everything off of the boat. We do not recommend wagons, but if it's something that you're bringing a larger bag or something more difficult to carry, it's certainly okay, but it's not recommended. So avoid saying yes to your units, or all scouts. If everybody comes with a wagon, we will get in trouble for that. We can't have more than 5 wagons on the boat, and they certainly need to be broken down to get to camp. So keep that piece in mind. Typically, what we see is people have little wheels that they then add on once they're walking through camp, but nothing that is open and wheeling throughout the whole camp experience. Our final question here looked like one about getting your campsite information. So we do allow units to keep signing up for camp all the way until 2 weeks prior to camp. So because of that, we don't assign our campsites until the week before your unit arrives, and then you'll find out your campsite information once you are in camp. If you need power, none of our, or not all of our campsites have access to power. So if you need power for CPAP or other medical concerns, we do ask that you submit that special request form or make sure that it's included within your double knot registration so that we keep that in mind and that we have you in a campsite that's most appropriate. But we're going to move on now to our next questions. Matt, you ready? Or not questions, but our adult leader resource form.
Yeah, totally. So we're always looking for more volunteers, generally in a commissioner role, but also if you have any particular skill sets that might be of help to not only camp, but something that you want to do as well. You can fill out this adult leader resource form, and it says turning it in at the opening leaders meeting on Sunday afternoons. That's the first day that you arrive to camp. You'll go ahead and turn that in, and then we can see what we can do with that. Of course, there's the list of various activities that you might be able to help with, and if you'd like to offer your help, absolutely, we would love to work with you on that, and that would be a great time. And yeah, just list your background, experience, qualifications, and helping us in the areas that you've checked up above, especially in relation to maintenance work. A lot of our systems in camp are, I don't want to say proprietary, but they're very unique to camp. So if you had any particular skill sets regarding, whether it's plumbing or electrical, you can list that there, and then that can be a talking point with our facilities manager about that, and whether we can do that while you're here in camp. Awesome. Okay. Going on to the Senior Patrol Leader Training Program. Yes, our SPL program. It is a unique opportunity for the leaders of each unit to come out to camp the Thursday prior to their troops' arrival on Sunday to experience a basically leadership training kind of, I don't want to say all inclusive, but course with our SPL manager who's in camp, and that involves doing leadership building activities, working together as leaders, also learning what it means to be a leader, and also preparing the leaders while they are in camp for what they are to expect the next week when their unit comes to camp. So, it's kind of getting everybody who has the unique opportunity to be the senior patrol leader of their respective units, acquainted with camp, maybe making it a less daunting experience for them, but also uh, have it be an enriching and informative aspect, prior to them coming out to camp. And one cool note about it is it immediately starts with adventure. Straight off from the port, they actually bike into camp, and we bring the gear in with their SPL manager and a team member of our bike shop. And so you start off with a bang and hit the ground running, as it were, too. So it's a very cool, unique opportunity for the leaders of each troop to gain more experience, and as a leader, maybe learn some things, but also to get properly acquainted with camp and everything that's going on, so that by the time the troop arrives, ooh, they are a-okay and ready to go. And it just makes that process even more smooth. Next is the Rugged Sea or Rugged Canoe adventure that generally happens with more favorable weather windows in the second half of our summer season. The Rugged Canoe experience is exactly what it sounds. It is a circumnavigation of Catalina Island by canoe. What kind of canoes, you might ask? Well, those are going to be we affectionately call them our war canoes. They are clipper canoes, around, I'd say, 21 feet in length, and they can hold up to, I'd say, about 8 people. And they are robust machines going all the way around the island. They work with our rugged staff throughout that experience. There's a pretty set itinerary where they will canoe around the west end to various campsites around the island. Avalon, our main town here on Catalina Island, is also a part of that adventure too. So part of the cool aspects of that is rolling up to a town that otherwise is run by motorized vessels and whatnot on canoe, and really engaging in adventure in that, and really an important point with that is that Rugged Sea, as the last paragraph right here, is Rugged Sea is a physical and mental challenge designed for older scouts. Participants will need to be able to canoe for several hours at a time. The longest canoe adventure on a particular day will be upwards of 12 miles. So it is incredibly important that they're ready to do that. And while it's not quite as physically intensive, albeit it's a steady paddle throughout. Rugged E, you have a huge hills to bike and big hills to hike up to. It's likely that everyone participating in rugged canoes will struggle at some point during their week. And often those who struggle the most gain the most from their experience. And a moderate level of fitness is required of anyone wishing to participate in rugged canoers. And if someone is wishing to participate, and for everybody wondering, yes, there is a separate kind of skills test for each of these programs prior to the program commencing. So that hopefully will alleviate any sort of possible things that go wrong. And there's the Rugged Trek program. You may have, especially if you're local to Southern California, heard of the Trans-Catalina Trail. It is exactly that. It is a trail that traverses the entire length of the island of Catalina. Our rugged staff will meet you on the pier, welcome you to the rugged check-in. The Rugged T fitness test is held on the same day that you arrive. And it differs from the other program tests as well, because participants will first go through a gear check. So that's kind of like a shakedown, make sure everybody is ready to go. This is more of an actual backpacking adventure. Whereas, in a rugged canoe, you're not going to be carrying all that gear on your back. It could be more loosely packed, in your dry bags and whatnot that are also required for that adventure if you want your gear to stay dry, it's favorable. With our Rugged T, you are bringing your backpacks. It is a backpacking adventure, and having done the Trans-Catalina Island Trail myself, you'll note at the last part of the third paragraph here, the total elevation change of nearly 10,000 feet throughout the trail with long climbs, rocky terrain, little shade, all of that, very true. Do not be fooled by the island's small size. The topography is really fascinating, but also really steep. So it is a rigorous test, and we go through the testing process with that 3 mile hike and the shakedown to make sure that fitness test is met, to standards. Everybody completes it, satisfactory in a satisfactory manner. Luckily, we sit just below. You may have heard of our great Silver Peak hike, which we'll get to a little bit later. But that is the test. Essentially, is summiting our local peak, and whilst only 1,800 feet in elevation, you do that from sea level, from zero, and it's a very, very unique experience where we get to see all the various parts of the island throughout those different campsites there too. Um, awesome. Same thing too with older scouts. Must be 14 years old to participate. And then we're on the Rugged Explorers, which is a unique mash of the prior two programs, but also introducing the unique aspect that we have here in Catalina of mountain biking on the fire roads and trails around here. So you will, during Rugged E, you'll get to experience one day of biking, a day of hiking, and a day of canoeing. So there's a canoe adventure where you spend an overnight at a beach far, far away, still on the mainland facing side of the island. So less nautically adventurous than it would be, for our Rugged Sea program going around the backside of Catalina Island, but still experiencing that canoe adventure, getting there, bringing the canoes up the beach, doing all that. The bikes too. We do have specific mountain bikes set aside for our Rugged Explorers program too, that are ready to take on that much longer trek, because the bike day is to one of the most beautiful campsites in the island, Little Harbor, all the way on facing the backside of Catalina Island. Absolutely beautiful. If you want to look up pictures, you can. I recommend you just see it in person though, because it is astounding. And they will traverse over 50 miles with the various disciplines that they partake in throughout the week, in that week. So it's a very unique opportunity, really fun. It's a great team building and character building exercise. And again, with these rugged programs, we do require that the scouts are a little bit older in age before they partake in that program as well. So definitely prepare appropriately. The hills on Catalina do not lie. That's for sure. Then back to within camp activities. We also have our sailing updates with our advanced sailing class. We offer an ASA 110 certification in basic small boat sailing here in camp. That is kind of further deeper instruction into how to efficiently use a small sailboat, and get really acquainted with different maneuvers. Getting comfortable is probably the most important part on the water, because while other programs, there may be, even in marinas, it's still on the ocean. It's still within, the confines of within a breakwater. The scouts that partake in our small boat sailing merit badge or our sailing program have a really cool opportunity to actually head out into what feels like open ocean, but is constantly patrolled by our chase boats. It's a really safe but really adventurous and really cool opportunity that they have there. There's a capsize test involved prior to the course even beginning. Additionally, you'll see there on the bottom with our larger vessel, the Beneteau First 22 sailboat. They have little bench seats. We actually offer a sunset sail program, which is geared primarily towards adults in camp looking for a getaway, for just a moment, but to experience a wonderful, hopefully leisurely, if not leisurely, maybe a little bit adventurous sail out to get a nice view of the west end of Catalina Island as the sun sets after dinner on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. It's very cool. Now, the capacity of each vessel or each sunset sail group is dependent on not only how many sailing staff we have, at a particular time, but also what our boats, how they're feeling, at any particular time too. So with that being said, that varies from each week, but you can expect for there to be 10 concrete spots for those sunset sails each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for everybody there in camp. It's really cool, and that's with no additional fee. Very cool. So then we have our ocean exploration with ROVs, a very cool new program with our Pennington Marine Science Center. There are these the scouts get to engage in a really hands-on engineering experience where they create their own ROVs and then get to use them out in the water. Kind of an alternative to snorkeling or scuba diving, but getting a glimpse into the world of marine biology and how to study the environments without maybe necessarily putting ourselves at risk and engaging with these various environments, building their own. Again, you'll see these kind of the PVC pipe, ROV program there. It's really cool. You get to see the fish up with the little fisheye lens, view it through a heads-up display on a little handheld monitor. It's very cool. It's a very cool part of the program. And that's also within our Pennington Marine Science Center as well, which in and of itself is awesome too, with our aquariums and all the animals that we actually keep alive and have a home for up there. I say up there. I'm at camp, so it is up there. All right. Ooh, Nick. Hello.
Hi guys. Again, my name is Nick, and I run the scuba program out at camp. Abby is also here. We're both at camp a whole time, so if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask us, or if you need a familiar face when you get there, we'll be there the whole summer. This whole packet is a lot of information. There is a separate one if you need to break it down into little chunks. As well, we did a separate scuba Zoom earlier, and that recording is on I believe it's on the facts and FAQ page or somewhere on there. So if you need to review some additional information, I will try not to take way too long with all of this. But with that being said, we'll go through some of the programs that we offer, and we are located on the lower end of the Pennington Marine Science Center, so on the bottom floor. And the best thing we do is we take scouts and scout leaders diving. Any age above 11, we can take scuba diving. So if you've never done it before, don't worry. This is where it all starts. We do a quick, easy flip chart in the fire pit the night before your dive. We go through all the skills and things you need to know to be safe. And then the next day, we get you all kitted up in your time slot. We get you in a wetsuit. We get you in our dive gear. We take you down to Doctor's Cove. We do a couple little skills to make sure you're competent and happy and comfortable. And then we take you on a nice 30-40 minute dive around Doctor's Cove, through the kelp forest, out to the reef lines. It's a fantastic, if you want to do something once, this is what you should definitely do. And if you decide that you love it, then you can go on and come back and do an open water program later on. And then if you're already certified, we have a Discover Local Diving program where we do the same similar thing. You don't have to do that night before program because you're already certified. You already know how to do it, but we are going to do a couple skills to make sure that you're safe. And then we go a little further, a little deeper, a couple little areas that are outside the cove. We see a little bit of different critters. And then that also opens up the opportunity on, I believe it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that we do night dives. But you do need to be certified and do a checkout dive or DLD during the day, and then we can take you out at night and see some even different critters. Cool. So those are the two main day-to-day programs that we run. You can jump in and out of. You can be in a regular merit badge and do some of your free periods to come out and come diving. All right. We also like to schedule that on some of your war canoe days so you can hike back into camp and not have to miss any kind of program as well. All right. And then we have our big programs that take the whole week. So our certification programs, the first level is open water diver, and that certifies you guys to 60 feet with a dive buddy. At the end of the week, you'll go through about 9 different dives, sometimes more, and we go through a bunch of skills. And it's all done in the ocean, no pool at all. So all your confined is done in the ocean. All of the open water is done in the ocean. And it's fantastic to watch scouts and leaders grab onto it and learn all the basic skills and feel competent and that they've gained something that is a lifelong skill. It's a certification for life. Once you've got it, you'll never want to not dive again. And then we have an advanced open water program. So if you are already open water certified, you can come in and join us for an advanced program. Our advanced program is 5 dives. It still takes the whole week. And we do some deep dives, we do some night dives, we do some peak performance buoyancy dives. We have a wreck in Doctor's Cove we go and see. So there's all sorts of things that it opens up in different environments and different styles of diving. There are some additional things to know about that one. Even though it seems like it's shorter, it's much more intensive. It's not necessarily harder, but it does take more time, and we're training you guys to be more independent divers at that point. So it's a little more hands off, and a little bit more dependent on focus. And one of the other cool things we do is we do a nice ride over and we try and do a tour of the Catalina Hyperbaric Chamber once a week as well. So if you're ever interested in dive science and dive theory, that's a really cool opportunity that we offer. And the rescue certification program, also a whole week program where you learn how to take care of your dive buddies a little bit more. Highly recommended for leaders and SPLs, right? To take care of your troops. We work on rescue skills, and you help lead these dives for maybe the open water class or the advanced open water class or some specialty dives, right? Becoming more of a guided buddy versus a student, right? And so I say these are all week programs. Those three, your scouts will still go to War Canoe. So frequently asked question, we still plan in so that they have time with their troop to go out and go enjoy War Canoe and have a break day. And the rest of the week is very intense. Now, if they are behind or if you need a little more attention, everybody works at different speeds. We might need that extra day to catch them back up and work through some stuff. So it's at the discretion of the instructor, but as of yet, I think there hasn't been a single scout who hasn't gotten to go on War Canoe. Unless they're doing our package programs, our hybrid programs, because we can actually get through all of it together in 1 week by doing the open water and advanced open water together. During that, we do require that they stay with us during the War Canoe day because we need that extra day in order to get through those extra dives and to make sure that we have enough time to accomplish everything. Hybrid programs, also very intense. Recommended for a little bit older, maybe 14, 15 and up, just because they are spending a lot more time in the water, using a lot more energy, and it is a lot more intensive, right? We're starting to build those focus skills. And if you're already an open water diver, we have the advanced and rescue package as well, which is a similar idea. It's just combining those two over the course of the week, and they again will not be going on War Canoe. They'll be staying with us to work on some of the rescue portions of the class during that extra time. Awesome. We can go ahead and scroll on down. And then if you know that you're going to be diving on vacation, we have a travel package where you wind up doing the open water and you get a couple of specialties, an enriched air specialty and a peak performance dive specialty as well. So we're working on that buoyancy, diving through the kelp a little bit more, trying to avoid entanglements, working on neutral buoyancy and comfort, trim, body position, things that will make you better divers in the long run and have a lot more fun when you go on vacations or maybe down to sea base and such, right? And enriched air is a healthier gas that we use. We talk about the theory of oxygen and such. And cool. And then I'll kind of breeze past these ones again because these are for already certified divers, but we do offer basically every specialty that you can think of. If you don't see it on this list, shoot us an email. Abby will put our email in the chat, and I believe it's also in here somewhere. Just to ask and see if it's doable, because most of the time the answer is yes. We have a huge facility at camp. We have all the equipment you could ever need. So if you dream it, we can probably make it happen. But these ones are ones that we run pretty regularly at camp. So we have our AWARE programs, Dive Against Debris, where we work on cleaning the environment. We go out into the mooring field a little bit. We work on cleaning up some of the trash that may have fallen off of boats. We talk about how that impacts our local environment.
as well as shark conservation. So we'll kind of relate that back into how to protect sharks. We can go out and look for some of our local small sharks, like little horn sharks that are really itty bitty and cute. And you can see them upstairs in the Pennington Marine Science Center, and how keeping our environment clean and helping the diving against debris can help keep our shark species local and keep the rest of camp clean. Yeah. Deep diver, it takes the three dives. And um, let's see, what else we got? DSMB, or delayed service marker buoy, is a 2 dive course. So some of these can be done in a day or over the course of maybe 2 or 3 days for a leader or a scout who has an extra free period, and can stay in their standard merit badge programs. Just so the specialties don't take the full week, only the open water, advanced, and rescue or hybrid programs. All the specialties are shorter programs. They all have different age limits, so those will be listed in the program specifics below them. Just a few other ones that are in there that are pretty cool that we see a lot of people after is like digital underwater photography, but you guys do need to bring your own camera. We do not provide them, but we'll teach you how to use it, and you can come home with some better memories and some awesome photos of maybe some giant black sea bass, which are critically endangered, or some uh, octopus or some eels, you name it. You want to look for it, we can help you. We talked about nitrox or enriched air diver a little bit already, and then emergency oxygen provider is a great course, paired with, and I believe it's in there later as well, is our emergency first response course for leaders who have divers or are divers already, learning how to deal with dive emergencies, and how to care for a wounded diver. So we teach emergency oxygen and emergency first response. Fish identification, we work on identifying and and learning more about our local marine life. We talked night diver is 3 nights, so that's why we have that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday option for the night dives. That way, if you choose to do the whole night diver specialty, you have the 3 days to complete it. Peak performance buoyancy we talked about a little bit earlier in that package program. And search and recovery is that kind of pairs really well with our underwater navigation class. They are longer, more intensive classes, but if you're pretty good at orienteering on land, let's bring those skills in underwater, and we go out into the bay and we look for things proper. We use our compasses and we do 7-point compass headings underwater and try and find our way home. It makes for a very, very fun week, but it is a very challenging class. And Underwater Naturalist falls along the sim lines. It's a little less intense version of that fish ID class. And we, instead of looking at just the fish, we try and broaden that a little bit into the full ecosystem. And if you can't decide which one you want to do, well, we can probably make 5 of them happen in the whole week, but that will take the whole week, and fill in for those open water advanced, that whole week program. And that's going to be up to 15 dives over the course of the week. So super intensive. Last year we had, I believe we had 9 people or so do that last year. It was pretty crazy. I'd love to see more people do it, and it's a lot of diving. We're in the water 3, 4 to 5 dives a day every day. It's pretty awesome. All right, and you get to see a lot of different parts of camp in the cove. We have a lot of information of all of reservations, cancels, and master scuba diver on here. The big thing is scuba merit badge. If your scout or is already certified, they can come just do a checkout dive. We do have in-water skills we have to accomplish with them to verify. Once they've done that, just one dive during their free period, then they can come and finish their scuba merit badge with us, and it won't interfere with anything. If they're in the full open water or advanced open water week-long program, they're going to do the merit badge throughout the course of the week. So it's going to come with their week-long program. But if they're already certified and they want to pick up the scuba merit badge, we can make it happen. They just need to do one dive with us, and then we'll get it taken care of. I believe we're changing a portion of that. It does say Friday afternoons, 1:30 to 3 p.m. We're going to try our best to get them all out so that they're completed and they have time to do aquacade with their troop because we know with aquacade, some strong swimmers, some scuba divers or some strong swimmers, we want to make sure they get a chance to participate with their troops. All right. Cool. And then just before we go on a little bit, there are usually a lot of questions about the paperwork. Scuba has a lot of paperwork involved. For any of the participating classes, we try and send out a welcome email, which will have an attachment. That attachment can vary from 19 pages long to 13 pages long, and it is everything your scout or scout leader needs to bring with them. It may seem redundant, but please have them bring that whole 19-page packet. That means they're not missing anything. We will have all the forms that they need present, and we can get them in the water or get something fixed so that they can get in the water. If they come with 1 or 2 pieces of paper out of the 19-page packet, it may be a little difficult to get them in the water. So make sure that we do that. Another thing that is a bit of a stickler for scuba is the date format. The date format in scuba is day, month, year. I know it sounds really weird to have to focus on something so minuscule, but in scuba diving, the way I like to think of it is it's inherently dangerous, and if we can't focus on getting a date right on a form, maybe scuba diving's not really for us. So let's focus on getting the paperwork done correctly so that we can enjoy ourselves when we're at camp and in the water, and we don't have to reach out to doctors or parents back home to get another signature. All right. And then if you have any further questions, Abby and I are in the chat the whole time, and we'll make sure we can answer them.
Awesome. Okay, then to merit badge registration. So you can access the merit badge registration directions once you get this as well. But you can access it for the Scoutmaster or the registrant on the CampEmeraldBay.org website. That'll be opened April 1st, not an April Fool's joke. It actually is open that day. Now, with that, there's the merit badge scheduling worksheet. It's a neat schedule showing all the various merit badges offered in each area. That is an essential piece to use while trying to figure out what merit badges are to be done when, because inevitably in different areas, also different badges are not offered, every session. So, and some last for as long as, 2 whole sessions for the entire time. Now, so with that, it's important to check out that document as well. It opens April 1st, and then of course you can submit it at least or at the latest 2 weeks prior to your arrival into camp. Now, also, if there is something, maybe a scout starts a badge and it's not working out for them in a particular area, or maybe a scout thought that the swim test was going to be a piece of cake, but it ends up being a bit of a challenge. And for some badges, that's going to involve a kind of switch. We have that grace period of that first day or so to first couple days, really, depending which badge, but recommended that first day once in class, maybe this isn't for me. I'd like to try something else. You do have that opportunity to switch that up. So, while it's not concrete, we recommend you stick to what you plan for, but things do happen. And so we are accommodating with that as well. Then there's also the program planner too. But here is the merit badge scheduling worksheet. So it's right in here, and you'll see those grayed out blocks, or when things are not offered, and the whited out sections there, or rather the not gray sections are where the badges are offered. So you'll see, for example, most of actually all of the A session offerings in camp are on the waterfront, one of the only areas operating at that time. There are other things happening during that time, like, for example, if you're on the Parsons overnight, that period of time will be very early in the morning, and you'll be doing some stuff at that point. It's a lovely really tranquil, peaceful part of Camp 2 is watching the sun rise directly over our waterfront in our beautiful property there. But I'm getting on a tangent of a session. But yes, this is our merit badge scheduling worksheet, a really, really great tool to use. And you'll see off to the right there too that the prerequisites are listed there as well. So you use that prerequisite form to get it filled out, signed, ready to go before you come out to camp to make sure that everything is completed there as well. Because that can also change the merit badges there too.
One big thing, sorry, Matt, to jump in on you, that I like to mention here is that this form, the prerequisites and comments page, there is a mix of requirements as well as best practices or recommendations. So we do not add any specific age limit to make it more difficult for campers to receive a merit badge, but we do add age recommendations that are best practices based off of what we've seen most successful at time in camp. Typically, the age is referenced by maturity and or skill strength. So keep that in mind as you're looking through this. If you have a 13-year-old that has the strength of a traditional 14-year-old and the study skills to complete the merit badge worksheet, then please send them up for one of our shooting sports courses. If you feel that a 16-year-old may lack some of that maturity, then use that as the reference too if you think that they should wait maybe another year before they take that class. Again, it's more based off of maturity, less based off of the actual birth certificate. We won't be checking that. But putting these different recommendations in this section does help us naturally cap our classes a bit more instead of having to put a firm cap on everything. It then allows students or scouts who are at that level for the next course to be able to have more room to explore and grow with people of the same learning ability or capabilities at that range, ideally. So keep that in mind as you're going through. Another example is our motor boating. The merit badge itself does not require you to have life-saving swimming, canoeing, or rowing, but that's our best practice as we want to make sure that your scouts, as they get into one of these boats and they go out into the bay, that they have that maturity and the skills to keep calm if the motorboat ran out of gas and they have to then start paddling their boat back in instead of screaming or running or yelling. They remain calm and know those skill sets because of their experience from canoeing or rowing. So those are just prime examples of this guide as you go through it and as you guide your scouts to pick their best classes. The other thing that's changed on here, and I know it's really small to read on this, but it is a larger copy on our forms and documents page, is our first aid merit badge. Matt, you've done the deeper dive into the new changes there. Can you just describe the requirement changes that haven't been reflected yet in this?
Yeah, of course. Basically, they rearranged what the requirements were. So what was a prerequisite, and also in particularly first aid, I believe it is requirement 2A is bing prerequisite. 2B, not a prerequisite, even though they are directly related to each other. We have one of the requirements is having a medical personnel kind of a talk with them about their expertise in their field, also going through the first aid kit they've created, which is the prereq to A or yeah, to A1 or something. It's like a double number thing. They made it complicated, but so it's making that first aid kit, having it there. Yes, that is the prerequisite. But then the second part of that same requirement is going through with that medical professional and having that conversation. But yeah, the prerequisite tasks remain the same. It's that the requirements themselves were rearranged. So the numbers will appear different. But if you are already familiar with the other prerequisites, with other camps, that remains the same. But it'll be updated on the current version of the form that'll be posted very shortly as well. Awesome. Okay, then there's the difficulty chart. Inevitably, some merit badges are harder than others, and that's something to take into account. There's the prerequisite form as well. So that's getting that all signed, approved by the proper authorities, merit badge counselor and scoutmaster as well. But just making sure that's all updated there. Trail to first class. I see that question there. I don't know if you want to scroll back up to the merit badge planning worksheet, but our trail to first class, which is right, it's not on there. There it is. First year rank advancement, Rangers. Yes. So that is a 2-session class that is non-merit badge based, highly requirement based. You're now trail to first class. It is still the trail. You won't be first class when that I say you, but proverbial you, the scout coming. Won't be first class by the end of that, but there are a lot of requirements covered throughout that experience. Really cool lessons. The totemship and firemanship is also included with that course. It's really cool. I actually remember as a scout, I did the first year rank advancement as well, and it was pivotal in my long journey to eventually becoming an Eagle Scout. So I had a great time doing it, and I highly recommend if there are any new scouts to your particular unit to engage in that first year program, even though it's not as flashy as the, astronomy merit badge. That's really cool and niche, or as popular as the kayaking merit badge. It is very important. You learn some awesome skills, and you get to meet and team build with also a lot of people, because inevitably those are pretty big classes too. So there's that there as well. Scrolling back down past the prereq form, there's our program planner. Some things have changed. If you are used to the Emerald Bay schedule where Silver Peak, the daunting Silver Peak hike happening at 3 a.m. on Friday night, technically Saturday morning, right before you leave, that you're preparing all week for that. It is not that anymore. It is now a Thursday evening hike. You might be wondering, Thursday evening, aren't there people on the Parsons overnight on Thursday evening? Yes, there are. Now the trails all going up to the top of Silver Peak will all converge at the back of camp. We also are taking a new route up, which you'll discover when you come out here too. But that also is to make the hike itself a little bit more accessible, but also provide a very unique vantage point for the island. It is a challenging hike, so there is that. So it's still a part of the program, just at a completely different point, especially given all the early boat departure times that are now starting to get implemented this upcoming summer. With that, yeah, it's a large layout of all our schedules. Sometimes, I mean, this is largely what it's going to look like. It can be subject to change based off of some unforeseen circumstance, but you can pretty much get used to this. And then any specific activities at one time they begin or end will be listed in camp and on that merit badge sheet as well as at the various areas. Like, for example, the waterfront, very frequented area of camp, has a dedicated sign to the schedule of the day with the various sessions and everything there too. So very, very neat little document here. Moving on. We have more on the merit badge prerequisites. So the field sports merit badges are among the most difficult offered at Camp Emerald Bay, and pre-camp study is highly recommended in the curriculum. Careful completion of the material substantially increases the scouts' acquisition and retention of the knowledge. The study material is the same as that used by many merit badge counselors elsewhere in the country, and while we still have some blank copies of the homework available at camp, we urge anyone who signs up for these merit badges to download the forms and complete the work before coming to camp. I also would like to add additionally that the field sports merit badges can sometimes also be the hardest to complete because there are shooting completion requirements. For example, rifle, I don't remember the exact number, but you need multiple rounds of 5-shot groupings onto the targets that we have. For archery, you need a certain amount of points to get the merit badge. For shotgun, you need to successfully, I was going to say annihilate some of the clays in different rounds there too. So there are still requirements with those merit badges, and sometimes those there's more of a learning curve, and sometimes scouts do not complete that merit badge because of that particular performance requirement there. So maybe that's something you preface some of your scouts, but also use that as a point of encouragement there too, to do this homework prior to coming out to camp, to take that mental strain off so that they can focus on honing in those skills while they're here in camp so they can ensure that they get the badge. Because I know that's all a big point there. Very good, very good. Continuing on. Yes, the infamous Parsons War Night Overnighter. During the Parsons Overnighter, campers can expect to canoe from Emerald Bay to Parsons Landing in the morning with their ranger. Boats will be caught on the shore led by Parsons staff and rangers, and once on the beach, campers will have multiple activities to choose from. There's a morning free swim, snorkeling, a Beaver's Cove, a hike to Red's Peak, and after this, campers will prepare lunch for themselves. So that's all done on the beach itself with the rangers and the units as everybody kind of moves around there. Now, something that is changing largely is Wilderness Survival Merit Badge is actually doing their overnight in camp, not on Parsons anymore. It's a very minute detail, but still, nonetheless, that's happening. But the snorkeling opportunities at Parsons while you are there during the activity are incredible. It is a very unique adventure to be able to canoe from camp and to land on the beach all together as a unit. I will say, be ready to have an adventure. If there is some sort of capsize of a canoe out there in the ocean, fear not, because we do have chase boats, on the patrol, ready to help and assist in the event of a capsize, get everybody resituated back in the vessel and back on their way. So sometimes there can be, more of a trial by fire there, depending on how attentive or not everybody was in the war canoe meeting prior to the adventure, where there is paddling instruction, there is instruction on how to beach the canoe. If you're not listening to those rangers for each troop, there could be some fun stories about that as well. But really cool. There's a chance to see some bald eagles there. It is a windy, really cool, unique beach. Again, cannot recommend enough to bring adequate sun protection. We are still on a desert island, but also on Parsons, while we have some artificial shade options there, largely uncovered and open in the sun, also with more wind exposure than camp proper is used to. So definitely be ready, maybe with some chapstick and sun protection there. But then one of the coolest things is you sleep out there on the beach under the stars all night long, and then wake up very early the next day. But there's all more information on the overnighter itself. There's Parsons, beautiful. There's more information on that when you have the there's a Parsons and War Canoe leaders meeting, in addition to the actual War Canoe meeting with the Rangers themselves prior to your departure. Then we have tons of activities going on at Emerald Bay. Of course, every day, at the start and end of every day, there's the color ceremony. There's meals. There's a waiters call, the dining hall, the waiter program. That's really cool too. Waiters, that's where we're volunteers and representatives from each troop come in and help set up and also clear the various areas around camp. At the dining hall, and we have a table rotation system where everybody gets a different view of the camp and the beautiful Catalina Island. While you're here at camp, there's the free session, infamous for having fun doing ranger activities, which will also be scheduled when you're here in camp, which includes snorkeling, kayaking, paddle boarding. There's classes available for adult leaders. One you see here on the screen is the safety swim and safety safe swim defense and safety afloat. We have an aquacade, which is like a water Olympics at the end of the week. We certainly try to make camp interesting, fun, engaging for everyone who attends. And stay tuned. There are some special, celebration pieces, as it is Camp Emerald Bay's 100th year anniversary this upcoming summer. So stay tuned when you come out to camp for more, updates on and fun experiences pertaining to that celebration in particular. Then there's the leaders meetings and the logistical stuff. And as far as swim tests are concerned, is everybody required to do a swim test? No. If you want to do anything in the water, however, yes. And it is a necessary evil, as some might say, because the water is a bit frigid. But it's really not that bad when it boils down to it. I do promise it's good. We have a very safe waterfront. We pride ourselves on a very safe waterfront there with lots of lifeguards, very, very adequately staffed and trained, all American Red Cross trained, I might add. And it's awesome. It's a good time. Yeah. There's also leader bike rides there too. There's waterfront leader free time. There's a leader snorkel. I believe that is the fourth session of the day prior to free session. There's a waterfront staff dedicated to that leader snorkel. So if you have your own gear or you need to use gear, that's super fun. Really cool. There's also leaders shoots down at the ranges, specific for leaders. And of course, the sunset sails and the Dutch oven cook-off, which is really fun. Although being a judge for that particular contest is a task in and of itself. Lots of dishes to taste there for sure. So if you have anything that works well in a Dutch oven, you have the ingredients you want to bring out to camp, you can. But if they're perishable, I'm not so sure about that. But anyways, let's moving on. Very good. Yeah, we have the neckerchief slide carving program. Various blocks and kit we have in the ship store, which I'm actually just adjacent to right now. Shameless plug for that. We have neckerchief slides available to paint as a very cool crafty activity throughout the week here. But additionally, there is the neckerchief slide carving program in kind of conjunction and going along with our wood carving merit badges and whatnot at camp here at Emerald Bay and you get guided and can create some really cool stuff here and get really good with woodworking skills and tools and then paint it to look really nice too, which is really awesome. Awesome. Continuing on. Then we have our contact information, because inevitably I also will be going to bed and have a question that I didn't get answered from the previous day and need to get that answered. And that is totally okay. Feel free to email us at any given time. You can give, there's the main camp phone number, while not monitored at the moment, is monitored throughout the summer by our clerk in camp. So if you get a call from that number, that's the number. But it is not patrolled at the moment. And then there's the WLACC camping department down there, but then the main methodology of contacting us will be through emails. So there are all of our emails there for the various departments throughout camp. And if you have any questions that come up later, we are ready to assist and answer. Awesome. And the radio is going off.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. Let's go through our questions in the chat really quick, and then we will jump into some of the more details to help you really navigate that forms and documents page to really understand where you can expect to find your stuff. Matt, a lot of questions did pop up regarding War Canoe. Can you just discuss some of the best practices for packing the items that they should have, / the wilderness survival discussion again. Will scouts be able to participate in War Canoe if they're doing wilderness survival, or do they stay back? Were the two main questions there.
Okay, yes, awesome. So first things first, packing. I would say pack only really what you need. We have a gear truck that brings all of the personal gear over. I highly recommend that's consolidated into like a small backpack or rucksack because inevitably the gear truck only has so much space. But also while you're there on the beach, you're constantly moving around and doing things. So don't pack things you don't need and don't pack things that you would want to lose. So it's largely going to look like, you know, your swimsuit, maybe some hiking clothes, the swimsuit you wear because you'll be canoeing, or if you're hiking over, you'll have that those clothes with you. Sleeping bag, maybe a pillow that rolls up nicely and inside the pack. Um, some water shoes would be good, sun protection. But beyond that, with also the mess kit that's in there, and apologies if I misspoke earlier, you do still need a mess kit to come to camp. It's way more pertinent with the Rugged Adventures because that is how they eat all of their meals away from camp. It is used for the Parsons overnight as well, though, over where they cook their own meals on the beach. So the next one beyond packing, it's basically just packing light, was the Wilderness Survival. So Wilderness Survival, yes, they still participate in the program. There will be one night, I believe, I'm not mistaken, it is that Friday night that they are out in basically still on our property, but we call it the wash of camp, but it's just a flat area where everybody can camp out and build their various structures. So yes, absolutely, they can still participate in the Parsons program, do everything with that there. Next was. Oh, I'm missing that third one. What was that, Linnea? I'm trying to look through here now.
Wilderness survival participating. Sorry, I was answering other questions, so I.
Yes. So yes, absolutely can participate. Um,
Final question on Parsons, and then I think we've answered most of them, is we do intend on all adult leadership participating in the overnight program as well, unless you are on that rugged program. So if you're signed up as a traditional merit badge adult coming to camp, it is expected that you do attend War Canoe with your scouts. There's not a minimum requirement in terms of age. We do anticipate everybody to go over to Parsons together. That's where we plan for you to have your meals. So you're counted out of our dining hall operation. You're counted in food for the beach activities for lunch and for dinner. So if there's medical concern, we can absolutely work with you. If you don't have a camper that passed the swim test, they can hike over. Or if you have somebody with medical concerns, we've also had the opportunity to drive them over. We do not have you canoe with your gear, so we put all of your gear into a truck, as Matt was saying, and then we bring that gear to camp or to the beach for you. So that does require you to pack very minimally for this trip. Only bring the essentials, only bring the things that you need. Typically, it fits into just a small backpack size, like a school backpack. Sometimes scouts will share 4 scouts in the same duffel bag to condense on space as well. But the big ask here is that you really bring the most limited space to put into the truck so that all 100 campers who are on the beach together have the same amount of space in that truck to bring everything. But that truck can be a passenger vehicle to bring people over if you have a scout with a broken leg, or if you have somebody that might not be able to hike over, or they didn't pass a swim check. We can accommodate those ways. For specific questions, somebody that says, I'm absolutely not sleeping on this beach, save those questions for when you get into camp. Typically, your mind changes. What we normally see is this is the biggest highlight that your unit has. It is one of those biggest opportunities for your unit to really bond together. And it's the best opportunity for you to really meet your camp ranger. And that person will be with you throughout the whole week in camp. So this is a great opportunity to really connect with them. So Parsons is incredible. But if you do have those specific concerns, save those questions for when you're in camp to really work through the specifics with your leadership team that's in camp with you, instead of coming up with every possibility for how to get out of it before you go. Go with the open mind. It is a really great program, and it is something that I think you'll all really enjoy once you're there in camp. All right. If we have any other Parsons-specific questions that we missed, please feel free to shout them out to us, or
I
Snow
missed a
or Matt if you
moment,
want to read them.
Linnea. I missed
Yeah.
a moment earlier when we were talking about the Silver Peak, and because it does now pertain into Parsons a little bit. Um, Silver Peak, I mentioned in here just to clarify, if anybody has a dive on Wednesday, they'll not be allowed to climb Silver Peak on Thursday. So we do have plenty of opportunities to dive throughout the week. Try and schedule that around if you know that you are going to go on that Silver Peak hike on Thursday.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. I see one question here. Will you be providing an IOLS course for leaders? Yes. There is IOLS training in with our Scoutcraft director in the helm held throughout the week. There's also a leaders nap safely course here as well. Let's see, how far is the hike over to Parsons Beach? It's about a mile and maybe about a quarter or so. It is not particularly far. It is also a fairly flat hike as well, not very hilly. So there's also a couple different methods. Also, sorry, adding so many things here. If there is inclement weather on the day of your Parsons trip, there is the possibility that the canoe, an inclement meaning more, rough sea state, high winds and such that would make canoeing unsafe. There's also an alternative hike that we affectionately call war hike, but basically is another way to get to Parsons too. That one's a bit longer though, at about around 1.7-ish miles, with a little more elevation and great views as well. Hammocks. Yes. So it's not recommended you bring hammocks because we do have not a lot of trees. So I don't know if that's in relation to Parsons specifically, because if it is, there are no trees. So that won't really work at Parsons itself. But as far as in camp, yes, although not recommended, because inevitably that will crowd up, also create an obstruction or possibly a hazard for people walking through different campsites in various areas. But there's also not a lot of trees. There's maybe a couple spots for a daily siesta hammock, but that's only throughout the kind of main strip through the campsites as we showed on the map earlier through camp. As you go to the back of camp, there's not very many spots for a lot of hammocks, but if you have an afternoon nap session plan, you're ready to go in a hammock, absolutely. Same goes for the scouts as well.
A big piece on that is a lot of our trees are protected by the Catalina Island Conservancy, so be really mindful of what trees you do use if you are bringing a hammock. And then we do require that if a hammock's not in use, it is removed. So if you're not in it, if you just put it up for that quick hour that you're taking a little nap, totally appropriate. But then if you get out of it, make sure it comes with you. Don't just leave it there, as it could become a hazard or a play zone or taken down by somebody else. So keep that in mind. Um, all right, I'm also seeing a lot of questions for our merit badge worksheet and merit badges in general. So we're going to jump in and answer some of these ones. I scrolled back to our merit badge scheduling worksheet. This is, again, just a reference for you, a guide so that you can be able to really see what classes overlap when they're offered. And for example, our red class takes 2 full sessions. So if it doesn't have a dividing line between, you will be signing up for both session 1 and 2. So keep that in mind as you see some of these classes. Pottery is another great example of those double required courses. As you're going through this, this is a great reference for your adult leader who's done the double knot side. We do see a lot of unit leaders will share the login for double knot so that they have some support going through and adding all of the merit badges. But there's no time limit on when you need to get them in. Most of our classes do not have capacity issues with them. So you can go in and do 3 or 4 scouts a day or a week and then put in the next ones without too much concern. As you're going through it, we do recommend that you follow our guide. So I'm going to go back to our forms and documents page to get everybody onto the same information here. So in the beginning, we talked about this forms and documents page being our absolute spot to find all of the information, anything and everything that you might find. You now see that spring 2025's leader packet, the one that we've been going through. So that one is updated up on here now. But this merit badge guide gives a great breakdown of all of our classes, activities, and recommendations for age, maturity, different levels to take which classes in. It breaks it down by each of our areas as well. And then at the very end of it, you'll find some recommended course structures just to help you build your curriculum throughout the week. So we've got New Scout suggestion, we have aquatic suggestion, those that are focused within crafts. There's a crafts suggestion. Exploration gives you a deep dive into some of our other exploratory based programs. Island ecology, if you're interested in learning way more about our island, and then more of that challenging side, more of our course bases. We also have adult suggested curriculum. So this is where you'll find most of our adult classes listed out. We do teach IOLS, Introduction to Adult Leader Skills, Introduction to Outdoor Leadership Skills. There it is. We teach Safe Swim Defense, Safety Afloat. We have our leader-specific training for Scoutmaster and Assistant Scoutmaster. And then we also have a Nap Safely course. It's designed to be more fun. It's more of a joke course, but it is one of our highest rated courses. So if you feel like learning how to properly nap, that is a class to take. But these are all listed in different times. You'll mainly find that most of our adult-based courses are not found on a spot and double not to register. They are just drop-in courses, so keep that in mind. But for scuba, you absolutely need to register for that one. For our shooting sports, we recommend that you register just so we can see how many people we're expecting there. And then for any of these island bio classes, we ask that you register in here so we can keep in mind our class sizes as well. But adult leaders tend to have a really great time when they come to camp. We see that we have a closer to 1-to-3 ratio for adults to youth in Emerald Bay compared to Camp Witsit, where we see more closely related to 1-to-8 or so. And we believe that's because the adults have just as much fun and just as much opportunity as our scouts have. So please keep that in mind. Primary focus is making sure our scouts are getting where they need to go and staying safe. But we do have a lot of opportunity for our adults as well. Going back to our forms and documents page, there's also a sign up instructions form. This one is very helpful as you go through everything. So you'll log into your double knot and then you'll just go through each of these steps. This sign-ups instruction is probably the #1 guide as you get to April 1st and you say, we have no clue how to sign up for classes. This is the guide. Send it to whoever you're having do double knot for you. But this will be the spot to go in and put all of your scouts information, your adult leader information. We have rugged and scuba available now. You can do that tonight. Flood our inbox. Let's see those classes go. But April 1st is going to be the next opportunity to be able to put in your traditional merit badge courses. So April 1st is when it's opened. Again, do not feel pressured to say, oh, it's 5 o'clock. I have to get it in right now. Take your time, get the forms in, submit them at your leisure. Most of our classes do not have capacities. The difference being the ones that are already open right now that do have those capacity concerns. So if you're looking forward to scuba, sign up tonight. If you are thinking of swimming merit badge, you have all the way up until 2 weeks before your time in camp to really lock in that merit badge, as we don't see capacity concerns there. Our other documents on our forms and documents page are all of our mandatory pre-summer forms. So these ones, please keep in mind, if you're California specific, we do need your AB 506 compliance form. But we've got our different information packets. We have our camp maps, our youth releases, our shotgun and rifle form. We do still require 3 copies for each participant. So keep that in mind. It's a silly rule. We know we get just as frustrated with it, but please do have 3 required documents for this one. So it's the same copy, just copied 3 times. That one's to keep one on the participant, one in our clerk's office, and then one on our range records. If we were to be audited, we need to make sure that we have all of those available at the different times with the scouts being there. All right. The other big one that I'm going to do a shout out for, because they've always been so great to us, is the USS Iowa. They do serve you dinner the night that you stay, as well as breakfast the next morning. It's an incredible opportunity doing a full tour. This cost has likely been updated, but they also discount scouts that are coming to Emerald Bay. So as you sign up with them, drop the point that you're staying at Emerald Bay with us, and they typically offer a discount for that. There is a minimum requirement for them to be able to offer the overnight. So if you're interested, sign up sooner than later so that more people can sign up and get on their wait list for them to open up that night. All right, Matt, Snow, Nick, what questions did we miss in our chat?
I just wanted to say hi to everybody. Can't wait to see you and welcome you to Camp Emerald Bay this summer.
Awesome. Thank you, Snow. We're so happy to have you back.
Yeah. I see a question here about sailing. As far as there's a capacity limit. There is on the class sessions, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Lenny, I believe that's set at 50. 55 sounds right to me.
55, I believe, is our number for capacity.
Yep. So as far as the class, it's about 55. If it's for sunset sails, usually the minimum is going to be 10 per session, but 5 per boat, because they are still small boats, bigger boats, keel boats, so more of a leisurely experience than it would be on a dinghy with, risk of capsizing, right? So we take that out of the equation and we have a nice leisurely time. But again, 10 people for that one. Oh, merit badge class limit. Yeah, 55. And then ASA is similar limit. It could be a large class, but generally it's not. But it certainly can be, and can be accommodated as such.
Our Trail to First class, we've got a few different ways of calling it. So you'll either see Trail to First class, first year rank advancement, or first year program. So as you're looking for that in the double knot registration, you will see it listed a few different ways, but it's all going to be that first and second session of the day. It covers second class scout, second class, and first class requirements pretty thoroughly. I would say about 90% for each rank does get finished in camp. The big piece that we do in camp is we teach the standard, we teach the requirement, and then the scouts have to go and test with the unit leadership. So it's still you signing off on their books. We don't actually sign off on their books ourselves. So keep that in mind, but we will give you a list of everything that we cover in camp with them. If you have a scout that's already made it through scout and second class, and it's just the last few remaining pieces of first class, they can just do our drop-in course instead of taking the full 2 sessions each day of the week, so that we can help them get through just those last requirements instead of doing the full repeat requirements. So keep that in mind as well. But there's also sessions 3 and 4 that the scouts then have available to them to complete more merit badges and earn a full merit badge instead of just the ranks that they're working on. For our rugged programs, we do require a minimum of 8 people to make a crew. So sometimes we get to that number by adding staff to it if we have an influx of staff for a week with smaller numbers. But a minimum requirement is 8 in total. So don't feel like you need to bring 8 campers yourself to the program. If you only have 2 scouts, we might have 6 others that are interested in the program as well, and we can get there. But it is 8 to get the number off the ground. Leader-specific training, Scoutmaster Parts A and B are both taught. I'm just reading through our questions now, so if you have one that hasn't been answered yet, feel free to unmute at this point and you can ask your questions as well. We will do our best to get all of the chat questions out, posted, and the recording. I'm hoping to have it uploaded by Friday to sit right here on this beautiful page, Spring Leaders page, where you can find the recording, again, scuba recording and our agenda. We will do the exact same meeting again tomorrow. So be here with us if you'd like. If we've missed your question, feel free to shout it out to us. Perfect. Thank you so much, Heather. The update for the USS Iowa is $100 per person if you're staying at Emerald Bay. So we will be sure to get that form updated. It's discounted from 105. Thank you, both Heather and Cynthia. USS Iowa flyer.
I see a couple scuba questions, if you don't mind, I'll jump in on this one.
Please do.
So we've got what's the difference between Scuba Merit Badge and Scuba BSA? Scuba BSA is the DSD or Discover Scuba Diving, and you can get um, uh, the merit badge is only for certified divers. So once they do the full class, they can get the merit badge. There is a um, Mm, there is a card that you can get for doing Discover Scuba Diving, um, but not the merit badge. And sorry, my questions are jumping around everywhere. I'm trying to catch up with it. Um, and there was another one about scuba forms. If they need a doctor's signature, definitely it needs to be brought with them. We'll ask even if they don't think they need a doctor's signature, get the doctor's signature. It makes life a lot easier. That is a Boy Scout policy that we follow. And if there are any questions about those medicals, feel free to email us a copy ahead of time, and we can make sure that it's all sorted out before getting to camp, before there could be any issues. We're happy to check and look through them before camp.
I'm seeing a repeat on that hammock question, so I just want to make sure that we answered that thoroughly. We do not recommend hammocks. If you have scouts that are in desperate desire to use them, they certainly can put them up, but it is dependent on which trees they can put them up on. So make sure they're asking their rangers which ones are safe trees to be using. They also need to be lower than 6 feet high, so nobody should be climbing the trees to put their hammocks in. And they also need to take them down when not in use. Traditional questions that we typically see that I'm not seeing yet are in terms of uh, special diets or bringing your own food. You are permitted to bring your own food. We do recommend that you put it into a bag that can't let scents out or smells out, as well as can't be visible. You would be very surprised with what our squirrels and what our um, seagulls can identify these days. They will find any sort of chip bag and go right through it. So please make sure you're being mindful of your treats that you do bring. You are able to have them. We don't have bear boxes and we don't have any predators on the island, but our birds and our squirrels are some pretty big pests. We also tend to have ants, especially as we get warmer. So keep that in mind. Whatever you do bring into your area will likely be bugged with normal camp animals and bugs that you see, but nothing as a predator, nothing to injure your scouts for having the sense, but just keeping the mess best cleaned. If it is something for special diets and you want to bring a certain drink or something that needs to be refrigerated, please let us know as well. We have a health lodge that we have refrigeration for medication, and we also have a fridge in our dining hall that's available for campers to put items into. But we do get pretty limited on space, so please reach out to us. That number is again going to get you to our kitchen manager. That's Lillian Urbina. So an email to her will get you there. You can also always email me or Matt, and we'll get you those same answers. All right, did we make it through our questions? We're just going to hang on until we get through the last of these questions. Feel free to stay or depart. I'm still seeing about 60 people, so we want to make sure that we get all of your questions answered. But thank you, everybody, taking on the role for the adult leadership role. It's definitely a big job when you're getting prepared for any summer camp, but we really appreciate you jumping through the logistics of learning Emerald Bay with us tonight, taking this 2-hour chunk out of your day and being here to learn about camp. We appreciate your patience with our forms and documents, and we really are excited to be celebrating our 100th anniversary with you. So thank you so much for choosing Emerald Bay. Again, with our capacities, some of our classes do have capacities that will be opened on April 1st. We haven't released them earlier because we typically don't see them being a big issue. Um, if we see that a wait list is growing for some of those, we will be removing adult leaders first from Sailing Merit Badge, for example. You're more than welcome to sign up for it if space permits that Sailing Merit Badge, but we will prioritize our scouts. You won't earn a merit badge as an adult leader, but you can certainly sit in the class, especially if it's something that you're interested in getting more familiar with. For those other classes like ROV and advanced sailing, we also prioritize our scouts first for those ones. So keep that in mind as you sign up for them as an adult. But generally, we don't run into too many capacity issues for that. As we see that wait lists grow, we do try to offer some solutions before having to kick people out. So keep that in mind. Um, but the bigger capacity ones are rugged and our scuba programs. So if you're interested in those, please get them in as soon as you can. And then our SPL program will be open to register into on that April 1st as well. So if you're interested in sending a scout to the SPL program, that opens April 1st. You do not need to send an adult leader. You just need to send the scout. You can also send a scout buddy. We don't have a maximum number of scouts that you can send. So if you wanted to send 4 or 5 scouts, you can certainly do that. It is best practice to send 1 or 2, your SPL and your ASPL, just to make sure that we are training them to be the leaders for the week. But if you have others that are emerging in leadership, they're certainly welcome to attend.
Hey, thanks for all the helpful information. A quick question just to confirm I understand this correctly. I'm looking at the new Scout suggested curriculum, and I thought I heard that the first year Scout included firemanship and totemship, but it looks like according to that recommended schedule or curriculum that you have to do that as a separate session.
I believe you're right. This might just be redundant. Matt, can you jump in? Trail to First class should complete firemanship and totemship in class.
Yes, with the updated programming this year, we kind of reformulated
Okay.
the curriculum going on there. Yes, both will be completed with them.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, good. Thanks. So that means they could have those 2 sessions or 2 periods free
Yeah.
to do something else. All right.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much.
Linnea, I see a sign or a question here about the service projects and how to sign up for them. I know they're easily able to be accommodated in camp because there's time available specifically for that conservation projects related to invasive species removal and composting. But there is another spot to sign up for them, right?
Yes, in the special request form, if you really want to sign up for a conservation project, you can certainly sign up for it on there. It won't be signed up for on Double Knot or anything of that sort, but the main spots to sign up are special request forms stating that you want to do a project. It is also the SPL and Ranger meeting that happens on your Sunday night arrival when you're choosing the different troop activities with your Ranger and your SPL. That's also the opportunity to choose a conservation project, and then anytime throughout the week by stopping by nature and signing up for a course with them. Our maximum rugged requirements are up to 40 participants in a cruise, so minimum 8 and maximum 40 for a rugged cruise. Nick, maybe jump in one more time to discuss the difference between Scuba Merit Badge and Scuba BSA, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Scuba BSA is for non-certified divers. That is our one session dive. So if you've never done it before, or maybe you have somewhere else, but you didn't get certified, and you just want to come check out our local cove and bay, you'll come and you'll do a little little flip chart. You'll do a couple skills, and then we go and have fun. That is not a certification program. That is just to go out and see the ocean. That's Scuba BSA, and you can get the Scuba BSA card, which is not for the merit badge. The merit badge is for certified divers and only certified divers. So if they come and are doing the week-long certification course, they can get the merit badge. But if you are coming and just want to try dive, then you're going to get the Scuba BSA card.
Nick, I think the last question is for you also. They said they if they're already certified, but they're doing the refresher course.
Yeah. So if you're already certified and doing the refresher course, there's going to be some additional skills that we're going to be doing, and we'll reactivate your card, your cert card. There's a little bit of e-learning, and that is, if you are looking for the merit badge, because you are certified, you can get the merit badge. Generally, those who are doing refreshers tend to be leaders, so don't need the merit badge, but that is an option. The refresher you're going to schedule at camp, or if you email our BSA email, we can do that ahead of time as well. If you know what other merit badges or other programs you might be in that might schedule conflict, let us know. That way we can make sure we can get you in and through your refresher course. But that kind of falls into that category of specialties. It's not going to take the whole week. It's just a dive or two, depending on how it plays out. And then I think Abby got the next one. Where is the scuba health form? Is it different from Part C, right? It is different than Part C. We do still need Part C filled out. That's why I mentioned earlier there is either a 16 page or a 19 page. And part of that is that it just includes the ABCs again. We are required to collect a version of the ABCs along with the RSTC medical. So I think Abby attached that medical form after that, but that is just going to be the RSTC, I believe. Yes, that is just the 3-page RSTC. And if you're filling that one out, remember, regardless, just take it with you when you do your ABCs, regardless of the yeses or nos, get that doctor's signature. There's no harm to it, and it ensures that we can get you in the water. Discover Scuba Diving. How many dives? Is that a week-long program? Discover Scuba Diving is not a week-long program. That is a one-session program. But we have had scouts sign up for like 5 or 6 of them throughout the week. They are cheaper as you do more of them, because we don't have to do the flip chart again. We don't have to do the skill assessment again. We know what works for you guys. We can get you in the water a lot quicker, and we go and see different areas. We might go around the whale tail. We might go out of Emerald instead of out of Doctors. So there's lots of different opportunities for returning if you do multiple DSDs or Discover Scuba Diving experiences throughout the week.
Matt, I think we've got just a few more minutes if you want to describe one more time our ROV program. It looks like there's some remaining questions there. Just a quick overview of what's offered in ROV.
Sure. Yeah. It's a little glimpse into maybe more of an occupational um, aspect of marine biology. So the students of in the RV ocean exploration program will get some engineering points, hands-on with creating their own ROV vehicle, getting to experience the underwater world are kind of more akin to those different ROVs that our marine biologists, use out in the field when we increasingly are delving into more technological ways to, not put us down there and to do that, dry, collect more information, maybe a little more easily, but also just a really cool experience to be able to engage kind of with this almost like robotics aspect of it. Is it, are they going down like 300 plus feet? No, it's simplified to a shorter tether there with the program, but they get to view, what the fisheye camera sees through the controller with the heads up display and control the robot as it goes in underwater and be really hands on with the experience with the vehicle itself because they actually build it together there in camp. So pretty cool. They learn also some really useful buoyancy knowledge too that is learned also in scuba, but also applies here to the ROV, which inherently floats, but then you have to use that ballast to get it to be neutrally buoyant there in the water, so it operates properly there too. So there's lots of science that gets it's learned, and you're able to see it in real time too with the ROV program because you see how the vehicle interacts with the environment and everything there. ROV is not a free time activity. No, it is a course. I believe sessions 2 and 3 throughout the day with the Pennington Marine Science Center. Yeah, it is a full-on course.
One really cool feature about this course as well is that we do have proper scientists come and talk about the research that they're doing. They either will Zoom in or we've had some guest speakers come to camp as well. But the staff that they're working with are marine biologists, they are aquarists, they are professionals in the field, and they really get to have that hands-on experience if they're interested at all in marine science. This is a great way to really grow the depths and learn what colleges to apply for or what to look for as they're building their resume to help them in those next steps as they're getting closer to applying for colleges focused in the marine science world. All right, and just so that we are conscious of time, it is 7:01, so we do want to wrap it up to be mindful of you all. Feel free to join us again tomorrow or send another representative if there's different questions that you have, but it will be covering the exact same information, and then our full chat will be posted as well as the recording so you can watch them again. But thank you all so much for joining us. We are so excited to have you this summer join. So any questions, please let us know. Again, the biggest change is probably just that transportation. So we'll send out an email with that so that you know to sign up for your boat preferences. Please, again, choose all options for the boat that work for your unit, not just the one that you would prefer. And we will do our best to accommodate your preferences if you write it down later in the boxes. But thank you so much. We will see you in a few short months. It goes quickly. All right. Our remaining 20 or so, there's less or more questions from anybody, or are we just hanging out to make sure we don't miss anything?
I'm just hanging.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you everybody so much. We truly do appreciate your time this evening and all of your hard work that we know goes into signing your camp up or signing your troop up for camp with us. Awesome. I'm going to